Hey everyone, my name is Theo and welcome back to Create TV. In this particular video I'm going to be talking about a brand new comic book series that I just started reading called The Fall of Man. This is issue number 2. This is issue number 1 if you haven't read it yet. I suggest you get the catch-up tier. But it is available, I believe, right now on Fund My Comics and on, I think they're going to be making it available soon on Kickstarter. I'm not sure if it's there or not. But this series in particular has had me interested in for a while because it's very reminiscent, very tied to the whole end of days type of story. That particular post-apocalyptic world, what happens after a certain extinction level event takes place. And pardon my words if I step over them or if I am lisping for some reason. My face is a little bit under the weather. For those who don't know, a while back, about 2 years ago, I had a well, I had partial facial paralysis on this side of the face. It still acts up from time to time, and I'm working through it. But anyway, get back to the video. The comic book series in particular reminds me of all those sci-fi graphic novels I grew up reading, and this particular one, however, I keep saying particular, this series follows a group of individuals who have unique abilities fighting against these monsters, these massive behemoths, kaiju creatures. And they are monsters to say the least. But the artwork behind this series is fantastic. It depicts these characters and these creatures as they're just very detailed, very well done. The artwork, I praise whoever did this. This was excellent work. And it's, honestly, I can't wait to read the next one. But I want to say a thank you to Paul Bird and his generous donation or these generous gifts that he's presented to us because of the things that, I mean, for me, it was my fault. I think it was my fault. I didn't include my address, and it essentially, I had to wait a lot longer for these books, but it was not his fault. It was because I didn't include my address. And so the fact that he sent these over, these extra gifts, it was a blessing to say the least. I was shocked. He gave us the black and white version of issue number 2 and The Fall of Man, the script book, and this poster. I'm honestly fully floored with just the generous spirit of this individual. I pray that God blesses him and his comic book. But when I was reading it, I was shocked to say the least because it's one of those things where you have these individuals who are clearly flawed, very flawed beings, and that's one of the backbones of many comic books that people kind of lack these days. If you have Spider-Man as a forefront of a character in mind when you think of flawed, that's something that you definitely shouldn't doubt. That he is one of the flawed characters. So the main character and the main characters in this comic book series, they all have their own flaws, and you wouldn't think that they're deserving of these abilities. And that's one of the best parts about it, is because they are given these abilities without their control, without their consent. Essentially, they are uniquely powered individuals, and they use their powers to protect their people. And this responsibility is thrust upon them just because it's the end of the world. And it's one of those things where I'm really just enamored with the story. I am pulled in. I get drawn in the more I read it. And I was reading the script book itself. I like how it's very familiar because a lot of things that my brother and I are working on, that's essentially how we organized our own script. And so seeing the panel art or seeing the preview art, it's fantastic to see how they organized it all. And so all I can say about this comic book is the artwork is fantastic. The story is definitely shaping up in a great way. And I am completely ready for the next issue.